Hi, welcome to this talk about the delicate art of making depressing game, which won't be depressing, I swear. No hablo español, lo siento, so I will talk in English. I have a lot of things to say, but I tend to talk fast, so I think we will have time for questions. But if we do not, I'll be there all day, and I don't get Spanish, so I can't see the other conference, so come ask me questions. I'm Pierre Corbinais. I'm a writer and a narrative designer. I've been writing for games for around 15 years. I worked for games you might have heard of, like Haven, or Road 96, or Shinobi Art of Vengeance. But I also worked on many games you probably never have heard of, like Never Alone Online, one of my very first game, and it's a game where you played a volunteer in some kind of suicide hotline, trying to cheer people up. Or one of them, which is a game about domestic violence. Bury My Love, which is about a Syrian refugee fleeing her country to find asylum in Europe. I worked a bit on The Wreck, a game about loss, the loss of a parent, the loss of a child. And recently I directed and wrote Wenesdays, a game about incest and child sexual abuse. So you might start to see a pattern here. These last three games, Bury My Love, The Wreck, Wenesdays, but also one of them actually, were done in collaboration with Florent on the left here, Florent Morin, who is the owner of the studio The Pixel Hunt. We work together a lot. And recently, a French journalist called us the Depression Dream Team. We were a bit surprised at first, and then we looked at our games, and yeah, we realized that maybe we had something for a depressing game. And so let's go, the delicate art of making depressing game. In this talk, I will mostly talk about Wenesdays, because it's my most recent project and also my most personal project. It's the first game I really direct and carry all along. And it's a game, as I said, about difficult topics. It's the story of this guy, Timothée, on the screen, who has been abused sexually as a child, and he's replaying a video game from his childhood, Orco Park, some kind of theme park management game. And while doing so, memories come back to him, memories from his childhood, but also from his teenage years, or even adulthood. And yeah, that's basically what you need to know about the game for now. So, why even make depressing game? It might sound like a shitty idea, so why? Is it for the money? Well, no. If you want to get a lot of money fast, don't make depressing game. I tried, it does not work. None of the game I showed you earlier was commercially successful. Is it because it's easy? Not really. It's actually quite hard, as you might guess. Writing about depressing topics include researching about depressing topics and thinking about depressing topics, and yeah, it can get pretty depressing, of course. Also, writing for such difficult topics can feel like walking on a tightrope sometimes. There are a lot of people who are just willing to see you fall. Of course, there are people who would think that, I don't know, refugees deserve to die in the sea and children deserve to be raped, I don't know, so fuck these people. But of course there are decent people who will say, oh, how dare you make a game about child sexual abuse? Child sexual abuse isn't a game, it's not funny. And yeah, a lot of people are looking at you with bad prejudice, because you're writing about difficult topics. So yeah, it's, I guess, harder. Is it for therapy? Oh shit! Is it for therapy? No. If you ever release the game in your life, you know that you don't feel better after releasing a game. Releasing a game is the worst thing that can happen to you. It's the worst part of game development. Actually, why make depressing games? I have a few answers, maybe. As for me, maybe it's some kind of occupational hazard. I come from journalism. I've been a journalism, and journalism is basically writing about the real world, and the real world can be kind of depressing, so it's basically writing about depressing stuff. So maybe that's why I keep doing it. And side note, I have absolutely no idea who this is. I just typed journalism, most famous Spanish journalism, and I hoped it was relevant or funny. I don't really know who she is. Maybe it's personal history. In my case, it is. It's not a surprise, I was abused as a kid. I've been abused repeatedly by an older cousin. And yeah, of course, that drove me to make a game about this, with no surprise. And I will come back to it a bit later, but yeah. Might be cultural heritage, of course. I'm really into comics. As a teenager, I was really into comics, and especially indie comics from the 90s, early 2000s. These were some of my favorite comics, and you got Máis by Art Spiegelman, which is a comic about a difficult father-son relationship, but also about the Shoah. And Pilule Bleue by Frederick Peters, which is a love story, but it's also about HIV, AIDS. Persepolis is a story about growing up, but also about the Islamic Revolution in Iran. And Crocodile Comics by Matt Contour is a comic about making comic mostly, but also depression and multiple sclerosis. And this is what shaped me. This is the kind of content I read when I was a teenager instead of reading One Piece. And now I feel that someone need to make these weird stories for the other weird kids that rather read this than what the other teenagers are reading, which is still One Piece apparently. And so yeah, that could be me. It's a way of giving back as well. I'm very lucky to be French. In France, we have several ways to fund games with public money. We've got the CNC and Arte, for instance. The CNC is the National Center of Cinema, and every time you go see a foreign movie at the movies, a part of your ticket goes to this fund, and this fund gives back money to make movies and video games. And Arte is a French-German TV channel, public TV channel, but they also co-produce and publish games. And a lot of the games I worked on were co-financed by one or the other, or even both of them for Wenesdays. And yeah, since the game are mostly funded with public money, I kind of feel that they should be some kind of public service somehow, that they should be helpful to the players and not just a mindless shooter. And I don't have anything against mindless shooter, but yeah, I'm lucky to have public money to fund my games, so I want to make games that are useful. And yeah, also, as I said, I've not been that lucky as a kid because I got raped a lot, but also I've been pretty lucky because when I decided to talk about it 20 years later, my parents believed me. When I confronted my abuser, he didn't deny anything, and what happened to me didn't prevent me to live a fulfilling life and going to conference in Spain and stuff like that. I'm really happy in my life. And I kind of feel that this is lucky, and I have this chance. I'm able to talk about this topic quite easily, and maybe a lot of people can't. And because I can, maybe I should. It's not an obligation, but it's part of why I'm doing this. And at last, it might come from a naive ambition, maybe, and it might sound pretentious, maybe, but I just want to make the world a little bit better with my games, and that's what I'm trying to do. No, okay, let's say I've convinced you and you now want to make depressing games. How to make them? I have a lot of small advices. The first advice is the most obvious, is get your subject. When you talk about, you want to write about real topics that affect real people, your game will affect real people, not because they will play it, but because people will play it, and your game will shape how these people might think, and this might affect other people. So you got to be careful, and it's a great way to do that is to document yourself, to read about the topics you're talking about, to not make up a lot of make stuff up. For Wenesdays, I read a lot. I read sociology essays. I read testimonies, for instance. Also, of course, talk to people with lived experience, gather stories. Everything in Wenesdays or Bury My Love, there is almost no fiction in it. It's just real stories sewn together to create a work of fiction. So it's really important to gather the stories, and you might wonder how to find people concerned with my topics. And of course, there are always ways, there are associations and stuff like that. But actually, you probably have a lot of people who can help you around you. It's a bit, for Wenesdays, for instance, it might sound a bit specific, but I've been working on Wenesdays for 3 years, and I've been talking about this game and its topic, so child sexual abuse, for 3 years. And when you talk about this kind of topic, people answer, and then you start to have conversation, and you learn that, oh, actually, a lot of the friends you know from years have story to tell, and you can collect these stories, and the more you talk about the topic you want to write about, the more people will, tell you stories. And you might think it's specific to topic like sexual abuse, but no, even for Bury My Love, I don't have any Syrian refugee in my close relations, but when I start talking about the game and what I was working, there's always someone, oh, you should talk to this guy I know, he's in an association and he can tell you things. Oh, you should talk to my mother, she's actually helping refugees crossing the border in that part of the country. Your close circle might be much more useful than you would think. Okay, oh yeah, that's Chris, hi. Chris is the programmer of the game, but he is a survivor of incest too, and we started talking about it on the internet years before making Wenesdays, and he became the developer for Wenesdays, so also, talk to people with lived experience, and why not give them some work with them, that's cool. And have them play, have these people play. For Wenesdays, we had playtests very early. When the game was only text, we already had our first wave of playtests back then. We had playtests when it was shitty placeholders like this. And then we had playtests when the game was almost over. And playtests, especially from people knowing the topics, from other survivors and people who were concerned by child sexual abuse in one way or another, was much more interesting than we would have thought, especially for the content warnings. We knew some scenes of the game would be difficult to handle, and we thought some scene would be more difficult to handle than some other. This one, for instance, in this scene, you get to see, you don't see anything, but you get to understand that two, 6-year-old kids share a bed at some point, and they are masturbating. They are not masturbating each other, they are masturbating each of their on their own side. And this is, we thought, oh, this is probably the worst scene of the game. You don't see anything, you see that. And yeah, it's a difficult scene for a lot of people. But for parents of kids of this age, or for victims of sexual abuse, yeah, that's just life. That's almost funny, the scene. And on the other side, we had scenes, like there's a scene where Timothy tells his story to his mother, and another one where he confronts his incestor. And okay, these scenes, we thought they would be difficult, but especially for victims, they were sometimes devastating, and we did not anticipate that. Because in the game, Timothy is a victim who moves on. He speaks to his mother, and his mother believes him, and his incestor doesn't deny anything. And it's something that is quite rare. That's not always what happened. And when people who weren't that lucky played the game, they felt really bad at this moment, because they were like, oh, why him? Why can he move on, and why can't I? Am I the problem? What's wrong with me? And we did not anticipate that. And because of the playtest, we were able to understand this, and this is one of the first things we write in the content warning. Timothy's experience, that of a victim whose family believed him and supported him, who were not traumatized and who managed to pull through. This may be particularly troubling for victims who have had a different experience. So yeah, make people play the game. And also, yeah, make games for everyone. When making depressing games, you don't have a big audience. By default, like, nobody wants to play depressing games. So you need to make games that could be played by the most people possible, so you can have a small audience. So make games for everyone. And that means games that are easy to play for everyone. In the case of Wenesdays, half of the game is some kind of visual novel. You just pick dialogue options, and it change the dialogue after that. It's pretty basic. But it's not because it's basic that you can't do great stuff with it. You can make some kind of dating sim. You can create mini games. You can have speech bubbles that disappear when you click on them or change. You can have speech bubbles that multiply. And all this creates different feelings and great narrative design. But what I mean is you can do a lot of things with a very simple gameplay if you think outside the box. And the other part of the game is Orco Park. And this is a theme park management game. It might sound a bit gamey, a bit difficult, but actually it's not a management game at all. There is no management part in it. You can't lose, you can't do any mistake. And in terms of gameplay, it's inspired by another game that a lot of people have played and known, and it may be one of the most casual games of all time, which is Clash of Clans. And yeah, our gameplay is basically this. You choose buildings and you put them easy. So that makes the game quite accessible, but that's not enough. You also need to make games that will be easy to find and to buy and to download, and that is much, much more difficult, actually. For PC games, we generally rely on Steam. Steam can be great for gamers. Steam is the absolute worst for non-gamers. If you never played a game, I want to play this game on Steam. So you have to get on Steam, and you have to create an account, and then you have to log in. And then you have to, you can, at last, you can pay for the game. Can you play it now? No, you have to download some kind of adware. You have to log in into this adware. You got to close the ads. You have to find your games, which is hidden in a tab called library, which isn't really self-explanatory. It's not. It could be play or your games. It's library. You don't put games in a library, and then you can download your game and play your game. And if you already bought a game on Steam years ago, it might be even worse, because now you have to remember your password, and then you have to wait for 30 minutes for Steam to do the updates. It's terrible. So what can you do? There is itch.io is much better for that. Like, you don't need to create an account. You can just pay the game by giving your credit card, like on any e-commerce website. But itch.io isn't great for languages. Steam is able to display the game in different languages, while itch.io isn't able to do that, so we had to fake it. We made 4 different pages for 4 different games, linking to the English pages when you can get the game. And because we thought the best way to get to be played by a non-gaming audience was to make web game, and our game isn't a web game. We created some kind of little web fanzine, which is on the page. So you get on the page, you click, and you're not playing, but you're reading a little fanzine about telling you stuff about the game. And this slide is in German for some reason, because I'm a French guy talking English to a Spanish audience with German slide, because that's Europe, baby. And we had this little thing you can play, and we hoped that would help people to get into buying the game. It did not work that well. Of course, we have maybe 20 more copies sold on Steam than on itch.io. But also, what we wanted to avoid, like people wanting to buy the game, arriving on Steam and not knowing what to do, happened anyway, because if you look for the game on Google, you find the Steam page first. And even if you go on the Arte page, we made a page for the game with links to Steam and itch.io. You don't know, get the game on Steam or itch.io. You don't know any of them. You click the first one, it's not helpful. I don't know, it wasn't that effective. It would, of course, have been better if we only had the game on itch and not at all on Steam, which was my intention first. But my publisher said, yeah, no way, and I think commercially speaking, they are right, of course. But another thing we did is to release the game on mobile. And I think this is working better to reach new people and non-gaming people. But we had to release it for free on mobile, because nobody pays for a mobile game. So, yeah, you reach people, but you don't get money. We'll get back to the... no, I won't do it. To the no money slide. And then another trick is to make games that doesn't look like games, so they are not too much intimidating. Bury My Love is still German. Bury My Love is a game that looks like WhatsApp, basically. So if you ever text people on your phone, you know how to play this, and this is not intimidating at all. For the same reason, Wenesdays look like a comic, and even today, comic is a much more known medium than video games. Everybody knows how to read a comic. Not everybody knows how to play a video game. Sorry. But I think my most important advices come here. It's not about you. Don't try to tell and convince people. Don't try to give your opinions in the game. Your opinions are probably shitty. they all are. You don't know that much. You're just like everybody else. Don't make it about you. Don't try to convince people or anything. In my case, for Wenesdays, for instance, I have no idea how to solve child abuse. I don't have any solution. I don't have any answers. What I can do, however, is to ask questions. I told you about this scene, about where we see two kids masturbating in bed, and they are very young. And is it weird? Is it normal? Is it abuse in some way? Is it something as a parent what should you do when you're a parent and you're confronted to this? What should you do as a parent to prevent this, if you want to prevent this? I have no clue. I don't have kids. Not my problem. But if you're a parent, you need to ask yourself these questions at some point. And that's what I'm doing. Allowing you to ask yourself questions and finding your own answers. But on the other side, it is about you, actually. No, those are me. That's me on the left, and with my childhood friends, and we still see each other. We are still friends, and all of them, or almost all of them, are in Wenesdays in some way or another. Of course, Wenesdays is about me. The story of Timothy is basically my story. It's okay to talk about you, and you actually should do that. But Charlie Kaufman says it's much better than I would, so I will read you this quote. Say who you are, really say it in your life and in your work. Tell someone out there who is lost, someone not yet born, someone who won't be born for 500 years. Your writing will be a record of your time. It can't help but be that. But more importantly, if you're honest about what you are, who you are, you will help that person be less lonely in their world, because that person will recognize him or herself in you, and that will give them hope. I love this quote. I hope you enjoyed it too, because here's another one. Do you? It isn't easy, but it's essential. It's not easy because there's a lot in the way. In many cases, a major obstacle is a deeply seated belief that you is not interesting. And since convincing yourself that you are interesting is probably not going to happen, take it off the table. Agree. Perhaps I'm not interesting, but I am the only thing I have to offer, and I want to offer something. And by offering myself in a true way, I am doing a great service to the world, because it is rare, and it will help. I have no notes. Lastly, don't be afraid to be weird. There are 8 billion people on this planet. You're not that special. The weird thing you're feeling, other people are feeling them. For instance, this scene from Wenesdays almost got cut, because I wanted to cut it because I thought it was too weird, that nobody would get it. It was based on some very specific part of my youth and of me, I guess. It wasn't, there was no much explanation. Even I weren't really sure what it was about, what was the kind of feelings I wanted to convey, so I thought, I should cut it. But I gave the scene a chance, and I showed it to playtesters, and they loved it. It was even one of their favorite scenes. And remember earlier, when they played this, it wasn't looking like this, it was looking like that. They played that, they enjoyed that, they got that. It was one of their favorite scenes. This is shit. Be weird, don't be afraid to do that, to be as ugly as this placeholder. It might be a great idea. So here comes the plot twist, the big plot twist. You probably all see it coming, but please pretend if you did. The true advice I can give, the best way to make depressing games is to not make depressing games. Don't make depressing games. Nobody wants to play depressing games. Make colorful games. Look at this, or look at this, or this. This is not what you would think a game about incest and child sexual abuse would look like. This is colorful, this is hopeful, and it's on purpose, of course, because incest is dark enough. You don't need to add to it, and people knows it. No, it's dark. You can do something else. You can just give some hope and try to deal with the topic with like more light-heartedly, I guess. And in the same way, don't be afraid to be funny. I don't know if I'm funny, but I put many jokes in Wednesdays. I don't know if they're funny. You will tell me. But it's still in German. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I took some slides I did for another presentation in German, and I didn't realize that I did the work of putting it in German. So I hope you enjoyed the joke. But yeah, it's okay to be funny even when talking about difficult topics. It's actually what we do as humans. We laugh at the face of adversity. I don't know if you already laughed during, what's the name? Funerals, but it's the best laugh during funerals because it's really, it comes from the heart, and it's a great way to relieve the tension, and it's a great way to bond. Love does that, relieve the tension, help humans to bond. That's great. Use love, use humor to talk about difficult topics. And also, your goal it shouldn't be to make people feel bad, it should be to make people feel good, or at least better than they were before playing the game. And yeah, in Wednesdays, if you play Wednesday, you're probably gonna cry at some point, probably at this point, because I totally designed it to make you cry. And it kind of works, I think. But crying is good too, because just like love, crying is a great way to relieve the tension and to create bonds between humans. And so yeah, don't be afraid to do that as well. But the point was, make people feel better. And I think you feel better after crying if it's good tears, tears of, I don't know, don't find my words. But yeah, make people feel better. That should be your aim. And now the most important question maybe, but is it really worth it to do that, to make these depressing games that aren't really depressing? Several answers. Money-wise, not really. Or if you take everything into account, like production, pre-production, pre-production, localization, everything, Wednesdays cost 270,000 euros. So far, like 1 year after, it's brought back 27,000 euros, so 10% of that, and that's even before Steam cuts, so not great. The plan has never been to get rich with this game, as you might suppose. But people who played it seem to have enjoyed it first. We got great ratings on Metacritic, and we got great ratings on Steam. It's 99% positive. We got many awards. That's always great. Because I made this game to be also pretty accessible and for everyone, for the first time, my mother was able to play a game I made. This is a text from her after playing the game. I love you and I'm proud of you, your mother. So, yeah, is it worth it? Yeah, totally worth it, just for that. But most importantly, we received hundreds, and I'm not kidding, hundreds of messages from other victims, from fellow survivors, telling us how much the game helped them, how much they felt seen, sometimes for the first time. Some people literally told us the game changed their life, and this kind of is the best feedback you can even get when making a game, and this is really wild. I wasn't prepared to that. I was afraid that people would reach us and ask ask us for advice, like people who are lost. Oh yeah, you seem to know about your topics, so what can I do? That never happened. We only got a message of thanks, and it's really heartwarming. Worth it, 100% worth it. All right, that's it. That was my talk. Wenesdays was made by all these amazing people. Xaiva, the artist, Nico Nova, the other artist, Christophe Galati, we saw earlier, he's the developer. Virginia made the sound, Diane helped with the development. It's available on Steam and itch.io, but also on GOG now, and it's free on Google Play and iOS, and it was co-produced by The Pixelant, Arte, and the CNC, and that's it. Thank you very much. And do we have time? Yeah, we have plenty of time. I was really fast.
Any questions?
Hi, Pierre.
Hi.
Really cool talk. I wanted to ask you about these last things. You were talking about like how depressing games are. Yes, that thing that about changing people's life. I really love that quote. Like it really changed my life a bit. That's awesome. And I want to ask you why high budget games like AAA and that thing, why they don't try to make more depressing games? You know, maybe because of the target you said and the people that played, but it's hard to see AAA games that risk themselves to make sad games and to touch these difficult topics.
Yeah, I don't know much about AAA, but I know big indies can do it as well, and I'm pretty sure like the developers from Life is Strange received such messages as well, even if the game isn't as weirdly specific than Wenesdays. But why people don't make it? Because I think people don't really buy these games. For Wenesdays, we got half lucky, half not lucky, but we had, in France especially, we had quite a lot of coverage. We had a lot of media talking about the game. We had huge streamers, like some of the biggest, playing the game. We won 2 awards at the French Game Award, and we were competing against Expedition 33, Clair Obscur, and not in the category we won. We were competing with them on the categories we lost to them. We kind of got big in France. And yesterday, a deputy talked about Wenesdays at a commission at the National Assembly. But despite all that, we sold 3,000, 4,000 units in the whole world, not in France. So even if you manage to reach people and to be heard, people don't. It's not that, I don't think it's that people don't want to play the game. I'm sure a lot of people would love to play the game and they're like, oh yeah, later, not now. Now I just want to play something fun, and we don't have, I don't know the word, habits for this kind of game. You're used to go to the cinema and to the movies and see a dramatic movie that will make you cry, and that's okay. And you can sometimes go comedy, and sometimes you go see those. You read books that can be about difficult topics, but you're not used to play video games, short video games that can be about difficult topics, because you don't really know how to do that when you're on your couch playing the PlayStation. That's not with your bag of chips. That's not the mood you're in. And I think that's our problem as a game. There is no habit for this kind of game, and so people don't really know what to do about it. Journalists don't really know how to write about it either. I would say commercial reason. It's not, so far no game such as this has made a lot of money, so why make them if your goal is to make money? Or at least to pay your workers. Making money is not a bad thing per se, but if you need to pay salaries and stuff, you have to make money. I think that's the answer.
Any more questions?
in the topic of making jokes about
Let's go back to
depressing
the German
topics
joke.
like incest and abuse and the like, where's the line between being disrespectful, like going too much,
Yeah.
saying things that you really shouldn't because it's sensitive for some people, and taking the matter in a light and warm way?
Well, in the case of Wednesdays, I think the jokes actually aren't about the topics. The jokes aren't this scene, for instance. I don't know. It's funny, I hope. It shows Timothy here. No, he got a pants on his head. Timothy, and it's like his first time he had sex with an older girl. And the scene is funny because he's very naive, and he asks very awkward questions. And like, oh, did you come? Was I a good sexual partner? And it's super cringe, but cringe is funny. But we laugh a bit. We laugh at Timothy, but I guess we laugh a lot with him and at us, because if that's that cringe, it's because we might see ourselves a bit in it at some point, teenage, younger selves, for instance. So we laugh at us. Also, fart jokes. Fart jokes don't offend anyone. Literally, the last word of Wednesdays is farts. That's something that cracks me up. Not sure if people really notice. They tend to cry at that moment, so they, stop with your fart jokes. But yeah, so that's pretty innocent, innocuous, I don't know the word. The whole thing is, I make jokes, but I don't joke. I make joke in games about difficult topics, but I don't joke about these difficult topics. I joke about the rest of the world. In Bury My Love, so the game is all conversations between Noor, who is the Syrian girl in Europe, and her husband, Majd, who is still in Syria. And they are lovers. They send jokes to each other, and it's just to make these characters feel relatable and to make people understand, oh yeah, Syrian people are people, big news, and they have life, and they joke, and they send emojis and stuff, like we all do. They don't make jokes about the thing, just make jokes to lighten the atmosphere, I guess.
Any more questions?
Hello.
Hello.
What are other depressing games that you love?
Okay. Three games that really inspired Wednesdays in some ways. I won't quote, I won't cite the Construct team because they're here, so I won't talk about their games. Actually, wait. Games that really inspired Wednesdays. There was a much more difficult game about trauma and abuse called He Fucked the Girl Out of Me. It's a Game Boy game, and it really showed me that we could talk about these kind of topics. And I chose to talk about this topic very differently than Taylor McHugh, who wrote the game. So He Fucked the Girl Out of Me. But it's really great too, and it was talking about trauma way before it was cool. Also, If Found by Laura Dreamfield. It's inspired Wednesdays a lot, especially for the graphic style, maybe a bit, because it's all hand-drawn, same like this, and it's about a trans girl coming back to her city, to where she grew up, and it's a small town in Ireland, and of course it creates some friction, and it's really great. I was inspired by Sibel by Nina Freeman as well. It's not depressing, but it's still about real life. It's a game about, it's an autobiographical game about a girl finding her boyfriend on the internet on MMORPG. And it's really sweet. And it, yeah, inspired Wenesdays a lot. And yeah, honestly, it's not depressing, but the last archery game by Deconstruct Team, what's the name of the game? Many Nights of Whisper. It's not depressing, but it's a game that can go reach quite deep. It did to me. Like I played that game just before releasing Wenesdays, so I was really scared of how is it? Will people like it? Will people buy it? I was under a lot of stress, and it's a game about this, about managing your stress, managing your expectation, and I failed at the game. Like I lose. It was terrible, and that made me laugh. And I just laughed a lot, like I haven't laughed for years, and it really helped me going on with Wenesdays, for instance, to have this tension drop. I sent you the video. I think you saw that. So yeah, great game too. And then all the games by the Pixel Hunt, my partner in crime, in the Depression Dream Teams, the Wreck, the game it's about loss, but it's really touching, and I didn't write it, so I can say I'll play it. Yeah, that's all I got for now.
Any other questions?
In the slide about trigger warnings, how you put trigger warnings about what is important without maybe going to the over explaining, but also being necessary for the people who need them?
I could make a whole conference about how we manage the content warning. We did a lot of different things. There's a lot of different steps. There's this screen, the first screen of, I will try to explain everything. We saw it at some point, right? Oh, wrong way. Yeah? yeah, okay. We had this content warning screen, which says that, so very, very vague about the topic, and then you can click on detailed description, and you get the list of everything you will see in the game. But even before that, we have a disclaimer at launch, and I don't totally like the disclaimer because it's half content warning and half legal jargon, like don't sue us, I guess, from legal team. So it's not great, but something I thought was really important to say at the beginning. Okay, this game is about that. Be warned. Now this game won't do this and do that. So this game won't show anything. This game won't show any violence or even suggest it. It will only be talk about it. So warn people, but also reassure them. I think half of the important work is to do that. And I actually have, I can't show you, but we have this content warning, and then with every time you build a ride in the park, it leads to a scene, a memory, and there's a little button you can click to know more about the scene, and just like the content warning, there's a line telling you, oh, in this scene, for instance, Timothy and Lucy are sleeping in the chalet, and oh, I want to know more. Okay, in this scene, at the end, they will masturbate, and it tells you literally everything. But more than that, this little button changes appearance depending on if we judge the scene to be a tough scene or an easy one. So easy scene, it's like one question mark. and then one exclamation mark, 3 exclamation mark. And we actually did not make it to warn people. We make it to reassure people. Because something I saw during playtests, I was watching my friends play the game, and I was watching them and going through funny parts of the game, and they did not laugh. Like, they never laughed. And I, shit. Either I'm not funny, which might be the case, either there is something else. And when talking with them, I realized that, they weren't laughing because they were tensed. Because, I know this is a game about child sexual abuse. And something related to child sexual abuse can come from every time, so I need to brace. And you can't laugh in your bracing. And then, so I made this system to tell them, this scene actually, you can go in, nothing bad will happen. You can laugh, and it works. And people do laugh at this during the scenes. And we also had a way to skip the scene immediately if you don't want to play it, and it's okay, you don't lose much on the game, so some kind of panic button, you played escape and skip. We clearly took the path of telling too much, maybe. Some players were annoyed by the fact that, we might tell a bit too much, and we might be a bit spoilery with, especially the disclaimer screen, the very first one. They were annoyed at us. But while we have maybe a few players telling us, you spoiled the game, that's bad. We had absolutely 0 players telling us, you should have warned me of this, and this game traumatized me, or I feel bad because of that game. That never happened. So I think we took the right path for that. And but yeah, it's something that, of course, was the huge discussion for this game from the beginning. It was a huge topic, and I didn't want it to do the thing you constantly, you don't want to see that, then click there and you won't see it. I didn't want to allow people to block part of the story because, I'm an author, I have a story to tell, and you can't just remove incest from my game about incest, sorry. But yeah, you're about to skip through any scene anytime you want, and you have this, the park where you go back to after every memory in the park. The park really is really meant to be a safe space where you can blow off steam and take some time to do nothing, just click on stuff to get better if you're not feeling great. I'm not sure what the resume, the final word is after that, but we chose clearly to do more than less, and with a lot of steps for the players to go further and further and further in the warnings. Yeah.
Thank you.
You mentioned before that for this kind of story it's important to balance putting a lot of yourself and a lot from others, or at least not as much of yourself. But would you say that for some specific stories you need to put more weight, give more weight to a specific aspect, or is always a sort of juggling between the two?
I guess there's always a balance you have to find, and it's what you want to do with the game that will affect the balance. Wenesdays is deeply personal, so it's mostly about me, but it's not about me enough for me to market it as an autobiographical game, for instance. I didn't want that. I didn't want to be the figure of Wenesdays. I'm a writer. I write a story. It's not about me. But for Bury My Love, for instance, Bury My Love is about a Syrian refugee. I am not a Syrian refugee. You might think I don't have much to put in this game. But since it's a game about two lovers chatting via WhatsApp, I actually have a lot of experience with that, and a lot of jokes we had with my girlfriend back then. I literally put them in the game, the same jokes, the same way we make fun of each other and that kind of thing. So even for, I don't know, a science fiction game, Haven, it's a science fiction game, it's about living on another planet. Yeah, it's a lot of me and my girlfriend as well. So yeah, I think you can always put a lot of yourself into it, and then you just have to figure out how much you're comfortable with it, and how much it's relevant as well. My childhood would probably be much different than the childhood of a Syrian refugee. So I won't put a lot of my childhood in a game about Syrian refugee. But yeah, I don't think there is a perfect way to do that. That's your role as an author or writer to find the balance you're comfortable with. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, let's end the round of questions here. Thank you so much, Pierre, for being here today and showing us the delicate task of making depressing games. Thank you, all of you, for being here also today. And I hope seeing you in the next talk in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.